Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know where you're checking in from. I'll wait for somebody to hop on here. And yeah, I'd love to know in the comment section where you might be checking in from, what's going on with your body. And today I'm going to be talking about a problem that I see with people who don't get the results that they're looking for, who want to get out of pain but have a hard time getting out of pain. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to hop right into it. So the number one thing, and this is not just specific to back pain, this is specific to almost everything in life, and that is most people focus on the problem. When we make a shift from focusing on the problem to focusing on the solution, that's when everything changes. Now, you can tell me if you're somebody that gets up and likes to complain, or because complaining is focusing on the problem. Someone who focuses on the solution will get closer to the solution to where they need to be. So I'm totally guilty of this. And it wasn't until I had this shift in the mindset, until I became conscious that I was doing it, that I didn't start to get real results, right? And I was in the victim mindset, victim mentality, where it's like, poor me, why does this happen to me? Why has this happened to me? Why did I fall on my back? Why did I injure my back when I was playing basketball? Why is this happening to me? And oh, I need to go to the chiropractor, and I need to do this, and and I was stuck in this rut. And your mind is always listening. Your body is actually listening to your thoughts. And so we're actually planting stuff subconsciously when we speak to ourselves. When we always tell ourselves, oh, I always have a back problem, or it runs in my family, or it's a genetic thing, or it's a genetic issue. We're believing that, and that belief is actually being played out into our body. And there's a book called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. You can actually read about the epigenetics, which is that what you believe changes the environment in your body, and that is actually what's creating your outlook. And so when we shift the way we look at things, the way we look at things change. So we literally are changing matter. So the way we look at ourselves and our back. So simple things like day by day, I'm getting stronger in every single way. We're now sending a small message to the subconscious mind that it's believable to it, like, yeah, I can get better daily. And now you take action, small steps in that direction that's focused on the solution, right? So you can have two things. You can have results, or you can have excuses, right? You can't have both, right? Excuses don't coexist with results. So you can either go in the direction where I am taking control of my health and my life. I'm the person responsible for it. Nobody else is responsible for it. And I'm in control. And now I'm going to get myself out of this pain. I'm going to do it. I just need to focus on the solution. And then there's the other part where it's, oh, you know what? That guy charges too much, or that program's too hard for me, or I can't do that, I can't do this, right? So some people will see like simple stretches, and they'll just see like, they'll start saying like, oh, if I could get down on the floor, well, why don't you focus on how you can get down on the floor? That would be your first goal, because that is extremely important. The last video I talked about how I was in Tobago, and a guy who was 75 years old was doing a full squat for 5 minutes, right? Most people in the US can't do that because of the way they think about it. They think they're old. They think they're not able to move. It's just not true. It's a belief system that you've taken on that you want to ask yourself, is my belief system helpful to me? Is it helping me focus on the solution, or is it putting me in more pain, more discomfort, and do I need to address something there? So part of this message today is focusing on the solution, all right? Not focusing on the problem. I know it's a very tough thing to do. I was there. I've been there. Sometimes I fall back in that solution or that problem mode, and I'm just focusing on like, I don't like that. I don't like this. Okay, when I start getting into that mode, I have to check myself and say, is this helpful for me? Is this healthy for me? What is the solution and what steps do I need to take to get to that direction? And that will change your outlook on everything, not just back pain. Because back pain sucks, it's debilitating. It take you out of everything in your life. I mean, it's the number one reason why people miss work. It's so I know, and I've been there. And so, but getting out of that rut, it takes a little bit of strength in the mind, and a little shift in the mind. Like, okay, I can do this. I can get better. I shared a story about my son who broke his collarbone two days ago. I could easily put him in the victim mindset. I could easily say, oh, poor you, buddy. I know it sucks. Poor you. That's actually a disconnect. Sympathy is a disconnect. It's saying, oh, you're different. We don't want to give sympathy to people. We want to give empathy. Like, hey, I understand you. I've been there. And I know the solution. And so I can help you get to the solution. But, oh, poor you, you have back pain. I know, you know, that's terrible. That is not helpful. It doesn't focus on the solution. So the whole goal is to focus on a solution, not focusing on the problem. And the first step that we always talk about is movement. That's the number one key. If you're not moving and you're not moving major joints that are needing to be moved, and they haven't been moved properly for years, you're going to end up in pain, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. As you age, you're going to move less, you're not going to have the hip mobility, you're not going to have the spine stability, you're not going to have the knee mobility, and then you're going to be somebody commenting like, well, I can't do those exercises, I can't get down on the floor. And believe me, I've worked for 15 years with these people, so I see people come in the door and they can't get down on the floor. So, and we've had numerous people like that, and then in 3 months, they're not only getting up off the floor, but they're picking up 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, sometimes eventually. We have 50-year-old women doing 250-pound deadlifts. Now, that's not for everybody, but I'm just going to tell you for the progression, right? A lady wanted to get stronger, and she was lifting more than the men. And that happens often. So we are limited by our mind and the potential. And I'll end with this story that's one of the most powerful stories. And it's kind of it's a heroic story, but it's a little bit of a sad story of a kid that got pinned under a car. And his grandmother, who had a cane and was walking with a cane, lifted the car up off her own grandson. And when they asked her how she was able to do that and what had happened, she said she didn't want to talk about it. And the reason why she didn't want to talk about it is because she was angry at herself, the life she had wasted, thinking how weak she was. That she had been walking around with a cane, believing this lie in her mind, but when time came, she was able to lift a car up off her grandson, which goes to show how actually strong she was. She didn't need a cane. She just had this story in her head telling her that she was weak and feeble. But the power came within when it was needed. And so now she lived her whole life not being as strong, not being as full of potential as she knew she was capable of. And so that is really part of what we're sharing here is like, why are you in pain? Well, there's going to be a few reasons. And we want to focus on the solution, not the problem. So when people are trying to give you the solution, you know, it's up to you. If you want to take it, you don't have to. But if you know my story, I tried anything and everything to get rid of back pain. When I was super young, like I was paying $1,200. I was paying $125 a session, cash, for 12 sessions when I was working in school as a bartender, to get rid of my pain. So that's how serious I was about my own health and my own body. And I was paying somebody who was an outside force that I was dependent on, that I needed. And that was the one thing that gave me the most relief, but I was paying somebody else to do it. I wasn't doing it on my own. So my goal is to empower people, to teach them how to get out of pain on their own. Now, that for me is the most empowering thing possible. And so I don't need anybody for my back pain anymore. I haven't for 15 years. So if you can take that on, if even a few of you take that on, then I've done my job. And so we're going to end here. Love to hear where you guys are checking in from. Any problems you have going on. Stay focused on the solution. Stop complaining about your back. You're giving it more energy. Just say, day by day, in every way, I'm getting stronger. And then take action to get stronger. Take action to do the movements. You know, if you haven't done back pain relief for life, I highly recommend starting there and then move on from it. We have other programs. You don't have to do our program. You can do other programs. You just want to make sure that the program you're doing is safe. It has a method that's based in science that's going to progress you slowly and easily to get to where you need to be. And I wish you guys the best. Have a great day.